money, there are always two types of people: those who increase their wealth and those who lose it. So that you won't be the second person, I will share with you 10 money mistakes you must avoid at all costs. These will help you keep your money for longer without all the heartache. The truth is that keeping money is a lot harder than making it. It's pretty common to see people who come into wealth through inheritance, lottery, or other windfalls, and lose it in a short amount of time. A really good example of someone who earned a ridiculous amount of money but lost it all is the famous boxer Mike Tyson. Despite earning over $300 million in his career in 2003, he declared bankruptcy and was reported to be in more than $20 million worth of debt. That being said, money mistakes happen. It's crucial that you're careful because these mistakes can cripple your finances no matter how much money you make. So let's get right into the 10 mistakes that you must avoid. Number 1. Spending on drugs, cigarettes, or other vices. Doing a drug or two in college may have been fun and seemed harmless at the time. But the truth is that constant use can have negative effects on both your health and your wallet. If you calculate how much drug and cigarette users spend in a week or a year, you'll see that many of them are crippling their ability to reach financial freedom. For example, a pack of cigarettes costs $9.08. Many cigarette smokers smoke a pack a day, so this amounts to $63.56 a week or $3,305.12 a year. If you think about it, the same amount of money could cover the property taxes on your home or a 2-week vacation. Sadly, many drug and cigarette users fall into this habit through curiosity and sometimes peer pressure. But as much as you can, try to avoid spending so much on vices like these. Number 2. Spending more than you make. I know, it can be tempting to do, especially as a young adult. You hold your first few paychecks, and it feels like you can conquer the world. Right out of college, you get your first car, which might be too expensive. Or you decide to fly first class. I know that they all look like appealing things to do, but the reality is that you might end up living paycheck to paycheck. If your income can't cover these costs, this issue could be considered lifestyle inflation, where an increase in earnings will make you increase your living expenses. I know that you might feel like you should be rewarded, but it's not always a good thing. It's also not always a bad thing. You should just consider the pros and cons of your rewards. What you can do instead is to direct your money to prolonging your wealth through investments and the acquisition of assets. Probably the biggest reason that people spend beyond their means is to impress others. It's a social status symbol at this point, especially on social media. As Dave Ramsey says, we buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. Many of us are guilty of this, but once you learn to delay gratification and forget about impressing people, you'll be able to grow financially. Falling into the trap of trying to impress others is a never-ending spiral. The best advice I can give you is to just be smart, create a budget, and track your spending to ensure you avoid spending more than you make. Number 3. Not investing wisely. Let's be honest, investments can be really tricky. A lot of people put their money into things based on tips from friends or a strong conviction that the prices of popular stocks will keep rising. One type of asset that just about everyone seems interested in these days is real estate. Many people think that once they own an investment property, they'll be financially set for life. They think that monthly rent payments will just start rolling in and their income will exponentially increase. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. Sometimes, tenants miss payments, appliances break, or the value of your property declines. Like all types of investments, there is risk involved. For the wise investor, research and knowledge about a particular market is the best way to secure a reliable stream of income. In short, make sure to do proper background work on whatever it is you want to get into, and not just because your friends are making money from it, or a sales agent told you about the great benefits it has to offer. These 3 mistakes so far are some of the most common ones that people make. Before we move on to some of the more complicated ones, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video. It'll get more interesting from here on, so be sure to watch till the end. Number 4. Following get-rich-quick schemes. Get-rich-quick schemes are one of the surest ways of losing your money. As the saying goes, quick money brings quick problems, and following a money scheme is bound to get you into trouble. Some of these schemes include Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes, and make money overnight offers. These are all set up to make the scheme originator rich by taking your hard-earned money. If you are looking into new business ventures and see opportunities that promise high returns with small risks, then be cautious. Think of it like this. If it takes 20 years in a career to make $200,000, and a new venture is saying that you can make that amount of money in a year, then something is very wrong. If it was legitimate, wouldn't everyone be doing it right now? Essentially, when it comes to making money fast, always use your best judgment before sealing the deal. Number 5. Not having an emergency fund. This one is a little bit more complicated than it seems. Let's face it, life doesn't always go your way, and sometimes you need cash in order to rectify the situation you're in. For instance, your car suddenly stopped working, you just lost your job, or your washer just broke. All these repairs and solutions cost money. This is why not having an emergency fund set aside is a critical money mistake. Sadly, a 2019 Federal Reserve study found that a large percentage of Americans find it difficult to pay off credit card bills and don't usually have an emergency fund. Luckily, you don't have to be one of these people. Saving funds can be easy. One thing you can do is set up a 10% automatic deduction from your pay with your employer that will send a portion of your paycheck into an emergency savings account. But how do you know when you've saved enough? Well, most financial gurus recommend you accumulate 6 months' worth of living expenses, and if you want to be extra cautious, then 1 year's worth is a great way to secure yourself. Number 6. Having just one source of income. For most people, having a sole source of income is their way of life. Of course, this income usually comes in the form of a salary. Unfortunately, jobs aren't as secure as people perceive them to be. In fact, in 2018 alone, US businesses laid off more than 21 million people. This means that if your job was the only way you made money, when it crashes, so does your cash inflow. When it comes to income sources, you need to think of yourself as a tree. Do trees grow fruit only from one branch? The simple answer is no. They have different branches producing flowers and fruits, and so should you. You should keep developing and learning new ways to let your income work for you. This does not only secure your safety, but it's also a great way to help you sleep at night. Number 7. Relying heavily on credit cards. For many people, credit cards can be a convenient tool for making purchases. But for others, they can be a one-way ticket to failure. Although you need credit cards for some business applications, relying on them heavily can ruin you financially. The use of credit cards promote impulse buying. It makes you think that you can afford anything and everything, all with an easy swipe. Actually, A 2001 MIT study found that shoppers spend up to 100% more when using their credit cards to pay instead of cash. So, if you find yourself uncontrollably spending with your credit cards, try going back to good old cash instead. When you pay with cash, you are physically handing over money and actually seeing your wallet get thinner. This will make you feel the financial impact of the purchase much more than when you pay with credit. Some of these mistakes are a bit more habitual, but if you train yourself to fight them, it'll help you sleep better at night. Before we move on to our final 3 mistakes, I'd love to hear your thoughts so far. Do you think these mistakes are easy to avoid or not? Share your thoughts by commenting down below. Now, let's get on with the 8th mistake. Number 8. Being scared to take financial risks. Have you ever heard of no risk, no reward? Well, there is some truth to that. In order to make money, you need to take risks. However, these should be calculated risks. For instance, putting your money in an index fund is a higher risk than leaving your money in a savings account. But your money will never grow. Always weigh your options and think about the pros and cons of your risks. Like I've said in a previous mistake, research is key, and prior knowledge goes a long way. Number 9. Saving rather than investing. When you keep money in the bank, it loses value over time due to inflation. However, when money is invested wisely, it grows. It's that simple. And mistake number 8, I mentioned that being scared to take financial risks is a mistake. These people aren't thinking of the best ways to make their money grow. For instance, when you leave money in your bank, you'll be tempted to spend it on material goods, like a new car, new clothes, or new gadgets. Instead, you should be getting that money to work for you by investing it, whether that's in the form of stocks, real estate, REITs, or startups. All these avenues offer a way to make new streams of income, which is much more financially lucrative than letting your money lose value like a sitting duck in the bank. And finally, number 10. Having only one bank account. This is risky for a few reasons. First, having one bank account will make the management of your money really difficult. By working with just one bank account, you have to keep all your emergency bills and college savings in one spot. It'll be hard to keep track of all your money, but splurging might be the biggest risk of all. Second, you may risk not having emergency cash or tuition money readily available when you need it. This is why you should have at least 3 bank accounts. One should be used for emergency funds, in case anything goes wrong. Another account can be for your day-to-day bills, and a final account, which I call a play account. Your play account is what money you allocate for entertainment or vacation. And if you want to take things one step further, you should set up an untouchable account. This account can be used as a savings account that paycheck deduction is directed to every single month. It'll help you automate your savings process and ensure your wealth grows over time. If you remember all of these mistakes and learn from them, then you're on your way to financial freedom. Start making some of the points in this video part of your routine, and you'll be getting fewer and fewer headaches with your finances. Thanks for watching, and if you want to learn a few more tips and tricks to handling your money, make sure to subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers!